Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Ms. Marvel Season 1, Episode 1, Generation Y. So, I don't know how I feel about this show. And I've been feeling this way even before it came out, when I first saw the trailer. I just wasn't quite sure how I was going to feel about this. So, first let me just say this. I do know who Kamala Khan is, Miss Marvel from the comics. Even though I don't read comic books, like I know who she is, she's an Inhuman. For this show, she is not an Inhuman because there was an Inhuman TV show on ABC and Kevin Feige hates that and he doesn't even want to touch nothing about that. So sadly, the Kamala Khan in this series is not going to be an Inhuman. Also, her power set is completely different. Her power seems to be similar to that of Green Lantern. Reason for that is because, well, in the comics, she has stretching powers. And with the Fantastic Four coming into the MCU at some point in time, Marvel didn't want two people with stretching powers. I don't know why. I mean, if that's how it is in the comic, why not make it like this? I mean, they're about to have two Hulks soon. They got two Iron Man type people. They have two Hawkeyes. They had two Black Widows, so why not? You know what I'm saying? And they have so many Captain America type people. So why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Reed's a big deal and everything, but it's taken so long for Marvel to get the rights from Fox, so why not let Miss Marvel have her own style from that the comics? So why change that up and everything? I don't know how diehard fans are gonna be about that because her power set is different. Now she does use her power like Green Lantern to make like a stretching arm and stuff like that, but it is completely different. I myself am not like a hardcore Miss Marvel Kamala Khan fan. I'm still new to her. I don't read comics, but I have seen her in animation, and like she was just like there. Like it wasn't nothing I was excited about or displeased about. It was just like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because I first saw her in animation in the Avengers Assemble, I think it was called, and then Marvel Rising. Marvel Rising was actually pretty good. But I really liked Squirrel Girl in that because she was just like hilarious. And also Ghost Spider. That's the only reason why I even started watching that. And so the thing about Kamala Khan's powers, her stretching powers, I never liked how it looked in animation. I hate how she has her regular body and she makes her arm stretch really thin and her hand really big. That's like so disturbing looking. But I will say, even though they changed her power set on this show, it's pretty cool and everything. So I don't have too much of a problem with that, but I just would have wished they would have done how it is in like the comic and stuff. And of course, she gets her powers completely different. So with this series again, I still don't know how I feel about it because you know how I am with the MCU. I don't like baby humor. And I knew by watching the trailer, this show is literally written for babies and everything. It goes beyond that of baby humor and stuff. This is basically a teen drama comedy and everything. Now, I can appreciate Marvel is trying different things and everything, different style, different camera tricks and angles and everything. But I don't know if it's gonna really connect. Like it is cool that's something that's completely different. Now, I've said before in this show I just reviewed called Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion that it was very similar to that of this show. Now, that's a Disney Channel show. I actually prefer that show over this one. At least with that one, the girl get her superpowers really fast and she does superhero type stuff. But Ultraviolet Black Scorpion is a Disney Channel show. It is a slightly different. It's serious with that splash of Disney humor stuff in it. So it's very much a Disney Channel type show, but it's slightly different. But I do prefer that one a bit more because Black Scorpion is like Batman and Ultraviolet is kind of like Kid Flash. Very chatty, very comedic, and Black Scorpion is more broody like Batman and stuff. But this series is just a typical Disney Plus series. The first couple episodes are so slow and everything builds up towards the end. And I'm tired of that formula. Now, back to the weird stuff in the show. There is graphic animation in this show. I saw that in the trailer and I thought, okay, maybe it's just the trailer, maybe it won't be the show. No, it's the show, and it happens all throughout the show. Sometimes it's okay, and other times it's just weird and jarring. Like they're riding their bikes around town and they pass in a wall that has lots of graffiti on it, and the graffiti is just like moving about. And it's visually interesting. Like it is interesting, but I don't know what to make of it, because with these Marvel shows and Marvel movies, you want them to get more and more mature, and they're not getting more and more mature. They're actually getting more and more immature for a younger audience, and it shows big time with this show. Because, I mean, look at Stargirl. Stargirl is a teenage superhero show that's very mature and everything. The heroes in that are teenagers, but they fight adult villains, and it's very mature. A whole lot more mature than this show. And so when it comes to that of the actress, I'm not going to go into too hard about her acting, only because this is her first major project. I knew that going into this show because I looked her up and everything. Mostly before this, she just did a bunch of like short videos like online and everything. But this is like her first major anything, you know what I'm saying? And so it shows, you know what I'm saying? Like you can tell she hasn't had much experience, like, acting and everything. And so that part can kind of take you out just a little bit. But, with time, she could practice harder and get better. Plus, I'm so happy for her because when you saw videos of her talking about being on this show, she was like so excited. Now, one thing that's interesting is that it's funny she's in Miss Marvel's show, but she actually does not like the Captain Marvel movie. She actually gave it a low rating on this one website. So that's kind of funny that she'll be in this show. Now, as for her best friend Ruben, I've seen him in two other projects, The Walking Dead and The Alienist. His age is starting to show. But he does look like a teenager, but his age is starting to show. And so I know he can act. Everybody else in there can act. She's okay. Like it's not like terrible acting or anything like that, but it is inexperienced, and you can tell and everything. But I'm rooting for her. You know what I'm saying? Like I really am rooting for her and everything. So what is this show about? Well, Kamala Khan, just like in the comments, is a fangirl of that of Captain Marvel and that of the Avengers. It never struck me until now that this is a world of superheroes where kids get to see that. And because, with the first Avengers movie, people was dressing up as the Avengers. That never really hit me until now. It's like, yeah, there's a bunch of kids living in the world and they have superheroes and everything. So they're like uber fanboys and uber fangirls, and she is an uber fangirl. Now, when this show first started and they had all the animation and her narrating, I'm just like, what the world am I watching? I'm like, oh, okay, she's making something for YouTube and stuff. So I get that. Like, she's a super fangirl. But like I said before, it does kind of take you out, especially if you're not familiar with what the world's going on in the show. And so it has all that moving graphics and stuff like that. So basically, she comes from a very traditional Pakistani family who doesn't really like for her to do much American type stuff and get influence. And so she has this best friend named Ruben, and he's this white dude, and they do everything comic booky stuff together, and they want to go to Avenger Con, and her mom is kind of like, no, what about your studies? But then she's all like, you know what, if you go with your father and he stays there for 2 hours and y'all dress up like the Hulk, then yes, y'all can. But the Hulk costume does not look like the Hulk. It's very, it just does not. And she doesn't want to do that. She wants to wear, a costume that looks more like Captain Marvel and stuff. And she hurts her parents' feelings. And so they tell her no. And so she's bummed because she hurt their feelings, but then she's bummed because she can't go. But then she comes up with a plan, a very elaborate plan. For a teenager, she thinks like a child and everything. And she acts like a child, and sometimes she talks like a child, but she acts like a child. She had this big elaborate plan of how they're gonna like get to AvengerCon by like she's gonna jump out the window, swing around the tree branch, and then they're gonna hop on their bikes, and then they're gonna jump off the bridge on their bikes and get on the bus, and then they're gonna go. They tried that, it does not work out very well. It's actually funny seeing them fail and everything. Also, that drop should have killed her behind, or at least broke a couple of bones. I don't understand how people on these Marvel series are falling from like a high distance and then not having any bones broken. But anyway, at some point, her mom gives her like a box full of some stuff from I think from like her grandmother, or something like that, from back home, and it's like a bracelet in there. Her mom knows exactly what that bracelet is, but she doesn't want her daughter touching it and stuff. So I'm guessing they come from like a long line of superheroes, probably. Anyways, so he tells her you should put a little Pakistani into your costume, this and that. It's funny because she's looking in the mirror, she's looking at her butt and see she doesn't have one, so she's thinking about putting like a scarf around it, kind of like in the comics. She has that scarf around there and stuff. Anyway, so she goes there and they're there and she puts on her costume, but she's a little intimidated because there's a bunch of other people in the Captain Marvel contest that are dressed very skimpily. So she changes her outfit. She leaves these proton gloves that he makes for her that just lights up. And so then she puts like her bracelet on. Then all of a sudden, she's feeling dizzy. But this was so funny. She's glowing. She's glowing the same way Captain Marvel glows. And I'm thinking to myself, if this bracelet is completely different powers than that of Captain Marvel, why is she glowing like her and stuff? So that don't make no sense. So then she puts it on and people can see her glowing, but nobody's paying attention. Like, how is a whole room full of people not see that? But anyway, she shoots out her arm and all these like discharges come out, which her new power display and everything. So something bad happens because she knocks over the head to Giant Man or Ant-Man, and then it hits Thor's hammer, and this one girl is like in total danger. So then she stretches out her arm with her magic powers, and then she saves the girl. They head back home, and her mom sees that she has snuck out, and her mom is very displeased, talking about, who do you want to be? Do you want to be the girl we raise and be smart, or do you want to be some cosmic like fangirl type thing or whatever? So of course, what do you think she's gonna pick? She picks the cosmic thing. Duh, like I would have too. Then you have to go all the way to the end credit part, because it's the end credit part. There are these two people in the laboratory, and this one lady is all a scientist, all like, I've never seen powers like this. And the man's like, oh yeah, me either. But his face turns differently, and you can tell he knows what this is about. He knows that bracelet and stuff. So he knows what this whole power thing's all about, but he has to play it dumb. He's probably going to be the villain of the show. So nothing much really happened. Like, I just don't know what to make of this. Maybe it's too early to judge. It's too strangely to judge and everything, or like the animation moving around and stuff like that. It's kind of like, how much of a teeny bopper show is this gonna be? Because it feels like a Disney Channel show, and it shouldn't, because it's an MCU Disney Plus show. And so I'm just gonna wait. Now I do appreciate seeing Pakistanians in America and seeing what they're all about, because you don't really get to see that. I did used to watch a show that's over in Britain that's still on right now, called Ackley Bridge. So I get to see what Pakistani people are like in Britain, but never America. So it is different because over there, even though it's a show about Pakistan, you really don't see them too much interacting and, in their jobs and stuff like that. But you get to see that here in this show, and that's cool and everything. Like, it's very fascinating. But I still like Ultraviolet Black Scorpion a whole lot more. It's just more interesting, even though it's a very Disney type show and everything. And so, yeah, I just don't know how to feel about this show, because it's kind of like, that's the problem with these Disney Plus shows. Your first episode is supposed to be a banger. You can do the character development, you can do the origin story, but there needs to be a banger towards the end, like a huge action thing. Her just saving that girl wasn't really nothing. I need like action. I need her to like, go around town trying to use her powers and then mess up or something like that. I don't know why the Disney Plus shows are so slowly paced. Everybody can see that formula, and it needs to stop. And you know what? A great way to make this stop is that people need to complain online so that Disney people can see this and be like, okay, we need to change this and everything like that. Don't let this be like the Marvel MCU movies where we keep laughing at baby humor so they keep bringing in more. Like, no, put a stop to that crap. Like just complain until they change the formula. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.